Okay, hi everyone. Thanks for joining the Megaport live tech drop-in this week. So this is a weekly uh, session that we run just to talk about anything Megaport and anything connected to the Megaport network. We run this weekly in North America, Asia Pacific, and Europe. So you've joined the APAC session today. So I'm Mark Austen. I'm a solution architect at Megaport, based in Sydney, Australia. So I'll be walking you through the session today. And we've also got Rob from Wasabi, Cloud Technology Lead. Rob, would you like to intro yourself and tell us a little bit about Wasabi?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Mark. Um, yeah, look, firstly, I'd like to thank you for inviting me to the session. It's great to be here. So my name's Rob Waite. I'm based in Melbourne in Australia. So I'm part of the solutions architecture team for the Asia Pacific region. So I'll just give you a bit of a brief overview of who Wasabi is and what we do. So Wasabi Technologies, we're a leading cloud storage provider that's been disrupting the way customers consume cloud storage in the marketplace. So Wasabi provides what we call hot cloud object storage that's S3 compatible and comparable to AWS S3 standard tier of storage. So the company was founded in 2017 in Boston. And Wasabi offers simple, affordable, and fast object storage for businesses of all sizes. And one of the key benefits of Wasabi is we don't charge for egress. So there's no egress fees or API fees with Wasabi that you would see associated with other well-known cloud storage providers out there. So the key thing our customers really like about this is the fact that there's no hidden costs. They don't get any surprise monthly invoices with additional charges, and we call those we call those taxation. That's basically extra tax you're paying on top of the storage that you're already consuming. And with Wasabi, you don't have any of those additional fees to pay. So we have 13 data centers that are strategically located worldwide and that provide secure and reliable storage options for our customers. So Wasabi has been operating in Sydney for the past, coming up for nearly 2 years now. And as part of that, we offer fast, secure connectivity through our long-standing relationship with Megaport. So whilst we've been working in Australia for Megaport for the last couple of years, that relationship goes back much further, really from when Wasabi first started out. That we've had that partnership and relationship with Megaport. So yeah, Mark, that's really Wasabi in a nutshell.
Great. Thanks, Rob, for that. So what we're going to do today is we're going to cover a little bit of an intro around Megaport again, for those that are maybe new to Megaport. We're going to walk through some of the Megaport products that are used to connect to Wasabi, and we're going to do a demo, so a live demo in the Megaport portal. So a demo of connecting to Wasabi, and that's all live. If you've got any questions, put it in the Q&A and we'll look to get those answered. So we have Serena, also a Megaport solution architect based in Singapore. She'll assist with any questions, and we're going to have a Q&A at the end. So if you want to hold off till then, you can. And we ask that you just throw any questions you like at us. So just touching a little bit about Megaport. So we have a global private network. So we have basically a global multi-cloud fabric in 25 countries, in 800 plus data centers. So data centers are where we live. So you can connect physically to Megaport in a data center. So in one of those 800 plus data centers globally. And it's all instantly deployed and configured. So you can go into our portal, deploy a connection in, say, Equinix in Sydney, and that'll be available instantly. And then you can connect either to Wasabi or another cloud provider instantly. So, within minutes, you're up and running, connected to cloud environments. So our value proposition is essentially, our global fabric. So, we reach a large amount of endpoints in terms of cloud providers, companies, services, and you can do that in minutes. So through our self-service portal, you can have your connection up running in minutes instead of months. You have full control through the portal. So you don't need to submit an order to someone at Megaport. You have full control on when you deploy or build and when you change or delete services. And that's all carried out through our portal, which is built in a very automated workflow, easy to follow process. So if you want to connect to Wasabi on Megaport, they are in these locations globally. So you can see they're in Sydney, they're present in Europe, London, Amsterdam, Frankfurt, and North America, so Portland, Dallas, and Ashburn. So that's where they're physically connected to the Megaport network. You don't need to be in those locations. So if you connect to Megaport anywhere globally, you can connect to any of those Wasabi locations instantly through our fabric. And that really is essentially what Megaport is offering in this solution. So we can connect you to Wasabi, and we can connect then to your on-prem location, or we can connect you to another cloud. So if you want to move data from, say, AWS to Wasabi, you can do that all through Megaport without even needing any physical environment. And Rob, do you want to just touch on the Wasabi Direct Connect solution?
Yeah, sure. So Wasabi, we have as Mark mentioned, we have a solution called Wasabi Direct Connect. So we offer that in effectively two flavors. You can either have what we call a dedicated connection, which effectively is a dedicated Ethernet private line, private link to us. And the other option is you can have a hosted option through our partners at Megaport. Now, generally speaking, our recommendation is that the hosted option is a much easier path to follow. And that's because of, as you can see in the diagram, we already have established points of presence and connectivity with Megaport. So you can basically go to the Megaport portal, connect through to Wasabi, choose the link speed you require, and that allows a connection through to us. So the second part to that piece is you will need what we call a Wasabi Direct Connect service. That's something that is procured through the Wasabi sales team. So we can offer you either a 1 gig, 10 gig, multiples of 10 gig, up to 100 gig connectivity into our data center locations, in this case, into Sydney. Again, that's a very easy process. I've done this multiple times with customers. Typically, the turnaround time is anywhere, I'd say probably 3 to 5 business days to have you up and running and connected, which again is much easier than the dedicated line option, which if you want to pursue that, you can. That would simply be your own private Ethernet line, and we would issue you with what we call an LOA, and that LOA you would give to your service provider, and they would then, and yourself would figure out, okay, well, how do you cross connect to us, and you would manage all the costs of that service coming into us. but we certainly recommend it's much, much easier to come through a service provider like Megaport into Wasabi. Again, you can choose the speed of service you want, and you can also scale that up and down based on your bandwidth requirements very easily. And obviously, you can pay for that on a monthly or longer term commitment. So yeah, it's very easy to do that. Like I say, if you want a WDX, work with our sales team. We'll take you through a survey questionnaire, ask you a few questions, and then once that's done, we can get your service up and running.
Cool. Thanks, Rob, for that. Okay, so when connecting to Wasabi after you've spoken with their sales team around using the WDX, they will issue what's called a service key. Okay, so that's the first step, and that's just a code that Wasabi will email you. So you take that key and you go to the Megaport portal and you select the Wasabi option in terms of cloud providers, and you enter that key, and that will build you an automated connection through the Megaport fabric directly to Wasabi. And that's an instant process. So it's just a matter of getting that key, which Rob touched on the lead times. But once you have that key, you can do that whenever you like, and that is an instantly built connection. So the other aspects around using Megaport essentially with Wasabi are egress charges. So like Rob touched on, there's no egress charges for Wasabi, but there are egress charges with other cloud providers. So if you're going to move data out of, say, Azure in this example using the internet, okay, this is an example for 300 terabytes, that will cost you around a total of $20,000 over the internet, okay? So if you want to do that with Megaport at high speed, secure, SLA-backed connectivity, you can do that through Megaport, so privately, and you look at the pricing here. So with Azure Express Route, you're looking at around $15,000 for egress charges. So there's a lot less in terms of egress charges using this private connectivity, and just the charges for Megaport. So you're looking there around $700 for what we call a Megaport cloud router. So in total, around $16,500 to move 300 terabytes of data privately secure at high speed versus using the internet, which doesn't offer any of those. So I think that's a pretty good offering from Megaport. So if we look at the connectivity options, the first one is if you want to connect in a data center physically at either 1 gig, 10 gig, or 100 gig. You can connect to Megaport, and Megaport will then build you, or you will do it through the portal, an instant connection through to Wasabi. You can see there at the bottom right. But you can also use that port to connect through to other cloud providers. So you can see there Google, Azure, AWS. So you can have that multi-cloud connectivity through your port. You can either just have the data moving from your on-prem within the DC directly to Wasabi and back, or you may want to move the data between clouds, and you can do that with your own equipment in the data center. But Megaport provides you that high-speed multi-access connectivity into these cloud providers and Wasabi.
And Mark, can I just sort of quick comment there? It's at Wasabi, we actually encourage customers to have a multi-cloud strategy. Again, you don't want all of your eggs in one basket. It's very common for a lot of our customers to have both, have data in Azure and AWS and copies in Wasabi. It's a very common backup case where, just a quick example here is, we have customers that use Office 365 in Azure, but they want to have a secondary copy because whether it's compliance requirements or regulatory requirements, they have to have a copy that's outside of that particular vendor's cloud. So that's where Wasabi plays very well here with our customers. And that's again where this technology and things like the Megaport cloud router and things like that help customers build that multi-cloud connectivity and make it easy?
Yeah, definitely. And Megaport provides this connectivity to the cloud providers in, like you can see here, 800 plus data centers globally. So wherever you may be, we can definitely provide that multi-cloud connectivity. Thanks, Rob. So looking at the next option, is the Megaport Cloud Router. So this is a virtual routing offering from Megaport. So you don't need anything physical in a data center. So you can spin the Megaport Cloud Router up close to the cloud on-ramps. So, in Sydney, Australia, you can connect to all of these cloud providers within very close to the on-ramps using the Cloud Router. And you can then connect to Wasabi as well. So it's all virtual, but it's private, high-speed connectivity and secure across the Megaport backbone. So this is really a popular product with our customers that have no physical environment, but they want that private, secure, and SLA-backed connectivity between the cloud providers. And I'll be demoing this one today. And the last one is what we call the Megaport Virtual Edge. So essentially, we call it Virtual POP is because it can replicate a number of different network appliances. So, you can deploy a Cisco router, you can deploy a 40net firewall, a Palo Alto firewall, or a lot of different vendors that we support you can run on this platform, and you can virtualize your network environment. So you have full control of the device, but you also have the offering of Megaport around this device in terms of building this automated or orchestrated network connectivity to the cloud providers. And you can do multi-cloud connectivity through it, but you can also extend it to a Megaport port in the data center. So if you need to connect anything physical, you can. And additionally, you can connect the internet provided by Megaport to the Megaport Virtual Edge. So if you've got any remote branch locations that need access into the multi-cloud environment, you can do that through that internet connection. So the last slide here, which I'm going to try and get to in a minute. Let's see here. Okay. There we go. Okay. Okay, that is the last slide. So no more slides. I'm going to jump into the portal and show you what that looks like. So if you go to megaport.com, let's just have a look here. Jump to our website. You can look at, if you just want to look at where we are at Megaport, you can go to locations and you can see there, these are the 800 or so, or 800 plus, and probably nearly 900 now data centers that we're present in. And you can search through here and find where we are. So it is 100% correct data that we show on this page. And what we also show is where the Megaport Cloud Router is located. So if you want to deploy a cloud router close to your cloud environments, close to Wasabi, you can find it on this website. Additionally, you can create an account instantly and get up and running with Megaport straight away. So it's all available through megaport.com. So what I'm going to do now is just log into the portal. And what I will show you here, we've got a lot of services here because it's our demo account. So I'm just going to filter it down to Wasabi. And you can see here, I've deployed a physical port in a data center. So this one here is in Equinix in Sydney. And I'm just going to get rid of something out of the way. There we go. So this one is Equinix SY1 in Sydney. So that's a physical port that you will connect your edge network. If you've got a rack in the Equinix campus in Sydney, you will plug into Megaport in that location. And I've also deployed here a cloud router in Sydney. So Megaport has 5 different locations or essentially zones within Sydney that you can deploy the cloud router on. I've deployed this one also in Equinix SY1, and it's connected to AWS. So I've got a connection into a VPC that I've set up within AWS in the AP Southeast 2 region, and that is connected to the cloud router. So what I'm going to do as part of the demo is connect the cloud router to Wasabi, and that will allow data migration or transfer between AWS and Wasabi effectively instantly. So looking at the port though, I'll just show you what that looks like. So if you want to build out a connection from a port, you can see here we have these offerings. So if you want to connect to a cloud provider, you select the cloud option. If you want to connect it to another Megaport endpoint, so another port maybe in a data center, and just link the two data centers together, you can do a private VXC. We also offer internet through the port. So if you just want internet through Megaport, you can get that instantly. And we have some other offerings here as well. So we operate internet exchanges. So if you're connected to Megaport, you can connect to our internet exchange. And we also have a marketplace. So the marketplace is a large list of providers of services that you can connect to their network to consume their service. So what I'm going to show you today is cloud. So Wasabi lives under the cloud tile here. If I go to the bottom here, you can see there's a Wasabi tile. So if I click on that, it's asking for the service key. So this is the service key we talked about earlier. So, you know, in this example, I would have spoken to Wasabi and we would have organized, you know, IP addressing and, you know, bandwidths and things like that. And obviously the location that I want to connect at, and they're going to give me a key. So I'm just going to grab that key, which I've already set up. And I'm going to enter the key in here, and it's going to go, okay, I found the endpoint, so the Wasabi endpoint that is connected to our network, and we're going to build out this, what we call a virtual cross connect. And the virtual cross connect is just a point-to-point connection between your port on Megaport and the Wasabi port that they are connected to. So it's completely secure, segregated from all the other traffic on the network. And depending on the speed that you've organized with Wasabi, you'll be guaranteed that throughput. So we go next, and we just got to enter a name for the connection. So I'll just call it Wasabi VXC. And you can see here you can enter a rate limit. So this one is set up for a gig. Okay, so I've talked to Wasabi and they said, okay, we just need a gig. And they've said, well, you can connect at a gig. So we know from the key, that's the upper limit. You enter your VLAN tag that you need to set up on your port. If you don't enter something in, we auto allocate it, but you can come in and put a number that works for you. And you can also come back and change that. So any of these fields here, you can change after deployment and it instantly changes. So the next thing here is pricing. So you can choose no minimum term. So maybe you've got a short-term project. You just want to move a large amount of data into Wasabi and turn it off. You can choose no term. But if you've got something which is going to be part of your critical infrastructure, you can choose 12, 24, 36-month term. So that's all available here when you deploy. You can choose that. In this case, I'll just choose no term and click next. So that's all in terms of what you need to do for configuration. So just looking at the summary here, and I'm just going to go ahead and hit add. And you can see here, it's gone and built out what looks like a design in terms of the connectivity. And the next thing would be to do is go ahead and order that and deploy. So it takes around 1 to 2 minutes to complete, and you're up and running and connected to Wasabi. So what I will do is just quickly show you what it looks like on the cloud router. So you follow the same process. You go and hit connection, cloud, and we just scroll down to Wasabi again. And I'm going to use the same key just for demonstration purposes. Click next, and it's asking you the same information. So from your cloud router, we're just going to call this again Wasabi VXE. We're going to make it a gig. And we'll just choose no term on this, and we'll click next. And now it's asking me what IP information do we want to configure on the cloud router. So this would be determined from the talking to Wasabi, what IP addressing they gave you. So they may give you a public IP to connect with, and we'll just enter something in there, which looks like public. Okay. And you've got the option here to set up a BGP connection with them, or you can set up static routing, and you'll work that out with Wasabi, whatever the preference is. The other option here is you can NAT. So if you want to NAT the traffic towards Wasabi, you just select the NAT option here. Okay. The next thing is we'll just step through, look at the summary, add the VXE, and you can see here it's moved to a design phase and it's built out the connection. We would go ahead and order that. Again, 1 to 2 minutes, it's up and running, and you can start moving traffic between AWS and Wasabi. So that's in terms of the demo. That's it. We've sort of got 4 minutes left of the session. I'm just going to quickly jump to Serena and see whether we have any questions. Well, I will.
Hi.
Yeah, Serena, I will, just before we jump to that, if anybody wants to jump on, turn off their mute and ask a question, we do have a couple of shirts available, the Megaport On Tour shirts, for those who want to jump on and ask their question. But if there's no one, Serena, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Mark, and thanks, Rob. Yeah, so I have a few questions. So, okay, so question for Wasabi for Rob. Question on the ground is, how is Wasabi so cheap compared to AWS and Azure?
No, I was waiting for that actually. You know, we always it's a very common question we get asked, and the reality is here it's very simple. Wasabi only offers S3 storage. Our infrastructure and our services are all built around delivering one service to our customers, and that's very highly optimized in our technology stack and IP. The other aspects of this as well, because we're a fixed cost storage service, you only pay for the storage you're consuming. So not having any egress or API fees or transfer tiering fees, things like that, as a surprise monthly bill, that makes up a huge difference, because in surveys and with our customers, we found that the vast majority of their storage costs in the cloud come from all the hidden fees, transfer fees, egress fees, API call fees. So there's a lot of stuff that they don't expect to pay for that they end up paying for. So really a combination of all those things is how we offer a far more cost-effective service to our customers.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Rob, for your answer. So I got one more question for you. So how secure is Wasabi, and will customer data be safe?
Yeah, so look, our data centers globally are built in enterprise standard data centers. I mean, we host our services in Equinix DCs and other data centers around the world. So we have very secure environments. From a Wasabi perspective, there's a number of different things we do to help our customers with. So there's various levels of security to prevent any sort of bad actors or rogue users coming in and trying to delete your accounts. We have sort of multi-factor authentication policies, all kinds of different layers of security protection to make sure your data isn't modified or compromised. And on top of that, things like data immutability, so we can guarantee that your files and data cannot be modified, changed, or deleted based on compliance policies.
Okay, thanks, Rob. Yeah, for the answer.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, now I have one question. Okay, I think maybe more for Mark, okay, or maybe for Rob as well. So what if the customers are not located, within a Wasabi location? Yeah.
Yeah, so just
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll cover that one. So just quickly looking back at this slide here, you can see where Wasabi is located on Megaport. Megaport can connect from the 800 plus data centers globally that we are present in. Megaport can connect you to any of these locations across our private backbone. So that is just using a virtual cross connect from your location to any one of these, and you choose whichever one works for you, maybe based on where you want to move the storage to, or the lowest cost option. So it really doesn't matter whether you're in Hong Kong, LA, Perth. You can connect to any of these across our fabric.
Okay, thanks, Mark. There's no question on the ground.
Okay,
Thank you.
great. Okay, so we'll finish up here. Thanks for everyone joining. And Dave, do you want to jump in?
All good, excellent. Well, that brings us to time for today's Megaport Live Tech Drop-In. Thank you, Rob from Wasabi. Thank you, Mark and Serena from Megaport. For those that are tuning in via Zoom and LinkedIn Live, we'll see you all next week, same time, same channel for Megaport Live Tech Drop-Ins. That's 12 p.m. to 12:30 via Zoom or LinkedIn Live. Thanks again, everybody. We will see you all next week.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
See you later. Thanks, Serena.
Thank you.